Now, the last thing we need in this country is another reason for democracy to be threatened. But your book says we have one. It's the darn kids today. Explain that a little. I'm paraphrasing. You're an actual eminent professor. You say it in better words than I just did, please.
Sure. Well, the book has its origins in an observation from my co-author, Greg Lukianoff. He is the president of the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, defends free speech rights on campus. And in 2013, Greg began noticing that for the first time, it was the students who were asking for protections from words and books and ideas and speakers. Previously, students had protested speakers before, but they'd never before medicalized it. They acted as though if this person says something, I will be harmed, damaged, people will be traumatized. And so this was something new, and when they put it in terms of safety, well, then administrators have to respond. So this came in around 2013, 2014, and it brought with it a whole package of innovations, you might say, microaggression training, safe spaces, trigger warnings. All this stuff appears from out of nowhere around 2013, 2014.
That's something I did not realize until I was reading your book. I thought it went back further because I've been talking about the fragile stuff for a long time, but I didn't realize that this is a new generation. The millennials stop at 1995.
1994, that's right.
Okay, so now we're into the iGen, you call them, or Generation Z?
Right, same thing, that's right.
And they're even more fragile.
Yeah. Well, so this is something that...
Who can we blame? Let's start blaming. I want to blame. Let's play the blame game.
Okay.
I say
well,
parents.
Let's see.
You go.
Okay, we'll do all the parents and we'll do all the teachers. So yeah, the basic finding, which I think surprised a lot of us assumed that the millennials were from 1982 to around 2000 or 1998. But kids born around 1995 had a very different childhood from kids born a few years before. And so research by Jean Twenge and others show that kids born after 1985, they don't get driver's licenses as much. They don't drink as much. They don't go out on dates. They don't have sex as much. What are they doing? They're sitting at home on their devices, talking with each other. And this seems to be changing social development. And we know this. This is not just some perception from outsiders, because the rates of anxiety disorders, depression, self-cutting, where they have to be admitted to hospitals, and suicide, all of these rates are way, way up, especially for girls, and it all begins right around 2011. And so it's when this generation first enters college campuses, and 2013, that's when all this new attitude about speech comes in.
Isn't another reason that they're sitting home instead of doing all those fun things is because the parents insist on watching them all the time?
Exactly.
I mean, I remember 20 years ago, we talked about helicopter parents, hovering over them. And now they call it bulldozer parenting.
Yep.
They clear out any obstacles in the way.
Concierge parenting, I've heard.
Right.
Yeah.
So that the kid doesn't have to ever face any difficulties. How can that kid function in the real world?
That's right. So the most important psychological idea in the book is antifragility, that there are some things that are fragile, like a wine glass. If you knock it over, it breaks, nothing good happens. If something is plastic, you knock it over, it doesn't get damaged, but it doesn't get better. But there are some things that have to be stressed or challenged, like the immune system. If you protect your kid's immune system, use bacterial wipes, you're actually hurting the kid. You're preventing the system from getting the information it needs. Same thing with social life. If you protect your kids from being excluded, from being insulted, from being teased, when they grow up, it's like the Princess and the Pea, a little tiny thing that they encounter on campus now becomes intolerably painful.